Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from the DC Multiverse line of action figures produced by McFarlane Toys, we have Batman Unmasked. So this is Batman as he appeared in the Flashpoint storyline. This is not Bruce Wayne, this is actually his father, Dr. Thomas Wayne, from an alternate timeline. Alright, so if you're unfamiliar with the story of Flashpoint, it was a big DC Comics event that took place prior to the New 52, I think. It's been a long time since I read that book, but I remember one of the big things that came out of the New 52 was the character of Flashpoint Batman, which we have right here. So this is Batman, but in this storyline, it's more so about Dr. Thomas Wayne becoming Batman, not his son Bruce. Because I believe in the Flashpoint storyline, you know, Bruce and his mom Martha are the ones that are murdered in the alley. You know, not Dr. Thomas Wayne. And you know, with Dr. Thomas Wayne being the sole survivor, he takes up the mantle of being Batman. So there's the big difference between our Batman, Bruce Wayne, versus Flashpoint Batman, which is his father. So there were actually two releases of this action figure. The first release was right here. This was version number 1. As you can see, this guy has the full mask. He has the red tinted lenses in the eyes. And this was prior to, you know, Warner Brothers and DC telling McFarlane that they can't package figures with firearms. Flashpoint Batman came with 2 pistols and, you know, came with a holster. You know, to hold the weapons. Great figure. Unfortunately, we're not going to review this one. This figure is kind of hard to come by, so I'm going to leave this mint in box. But instead, we're going to review, it's almost an identical figure. We're going to review the unmasked version. For the most part, they're essentially the same figure. The only difference is, you know, one of the big ones is that unmasked comes with the giant sword. And then there's also the difference in the cowl. Over here, the cowl is kind of folded down around his neck, and then he actually has a new head sculpt. So as you can see right here, there's a difference between the neck and head on both figures, but for the most part, they're essentially identical. So we're going to take a look at the unmasked version. So on the back, we have some beautiful comic book artwork. This one is from Batman 22, published in 2017. And the artwork's by Fabok, I believe. And some of the other figures at the time when this figure was released, there was the McFarlane Design Batman, Damian Wayne, a great figure actually. Death Metal Batman, I think this was the solo release. There was the Drowned figure, and then there's Deathstroke. Really hard figure to find, and it's friggin' awesome. Alright, so you also get the trading card and the action figure stand, much like most McFarlane DC figures. Okay, so first impressions of the figure while it's in the tray. I like this figure a lot. For one, it comes with a lot of accessories. You get a sword. You get 2 pistols, which are nice, and these are just a great accessory to have too. You know, if you have like the Red Hood figure, unfortunately, the later versions of that figure doesn't come with any pistols. You know, you can easily loan these pistols out to Jason Todd. I love the sword here. It looks awesome. It's giant. It's huge. Really well sculpted detailing on the hilt, as you can see right there. Some nice engravings, a nice clean wrap on the handle. Nice metallic finish on the blade. It's not too glossy. It's just kind of like a nice satin finish. And then you get the cool pistols. You get a pair of them, so that's nice. You can easily loan these out to the Red Hood or Hush or any other character you think needs weapons. And they appear to be... no, they're not. They're not identical. They're actually different ones. As you can see, yeah, they're actually different sculpts, which is nice. Or they're actually mirror sculpts. I take it back. They're not identical, but they're mirrored. So that's cool. And let's take a look at Flashpoint Batman. Alright, so I'm really liking what I'm seeing right now as I handle this figure. Flashpoint Batman comes in at about a little over 7¼ inches. Let's take a look at his head sculpt up close. Beautiful, beautiful sculpt. I say this all the time with some McFarlane figures. You know, you capture them under the right lighting conditions and it really breathes life into the characters. It's a much more solemn expression on the face, you know, very serious. You know, he's kind of in a neutral gaze. Excellent sculpted hair, nice attention to detail. He has a nice 5 o'clock shadow with a stubble on his chin and on his cheeks. I love the cape design too, how it kind of like points up. It kind of reminds me of McFarlane's Spawn or like the old Norm Breakfoil Batman. Different bat emblem, as you can see here. This is for the Dr. Thomas Flashpoint Batman. That's how you identify him. Unlike Bruce, who's known for, like, you know, donning gold and black, Flashpoint's more so red and black. Looks like mine has a little bit of scuffing on the chest, which is alright. A wonderfully detailed utility belt, as you can see, and there's a pair of holsters, which is a nice touch. I say this all the time in some of my other videos, like when I review a G.I. Joe Classified series of figure. I love it when you can store the weapons onto the body of the toy. So that's awesome. It's kind of nice too that even though the holsters have the appearance that it wraps on the thigh, it's actually disconnected so that when you articulate the figure, you don't have to worry about this thing being stuck to the leg, hindering the motion. Really, really clean looking armor. Nice knee pads and shin guards with some scarring and battle damage. I love the Gauntlet design. And much like, it's kind of like a motif carried throughout, like Batman. Anytime there's a character that's wearing the Batman, costume, and it's not Bruce Wayne, it's often denoted by 2 fins as opposed to 3. So anytime you see 2 fins, normally that means it's not Bruce Wayne and it's someone else. For example, like when Dick Grayson took up the mantle of Batman, he only had the 2 fins. Likewise, I believe the Future State Batman figure, that's Timothy Fox, I believe that only has 2 fins as well. So it's a theme they carry over in the different Batmans. The cape is nicely sculpted. And one thing I do appreciate about this cape a lot is that it's in a very neutral pose. And when I say neutral, it's just kind of just draped over, flowing directly down. It's not one of those overly done capes where it looks like it's flapping in the wind in like one direction. You know, you might have some Batmans or Superman figures where the cape looks like it's going out like this. You know, for me, I prefer it to go neutral and just have it go down. It takes up less real estate when the figure is displayed on your shelf. For the articulation of this figure, his head looks left and right. He looks down about that much, looks up, not too much at all. His arms rotate. Unfortunately, they're going to hit the top of the cape. They go out also. He has that McFarlane butterfly ball joint right there, which allows for extended range of motion. Bicep cut, which allows for bicep swivel. Dual pinned elbows, but only one pin is exposed because the bracer here is covering up the other one on the forearm. Articulated wrists, ab crunch right there, mid-torso. So it allows him to crunch that much forward and arch back about like this much. Does he have a waist swivel? I don't know. So it looks like this guy's waist, I don't think it, unless it's stuck or it's not there, it doesn't look like it's going to swivel on me. Which is alright, because the chest, mid-torso swivels, but I can't get the waist to swivel. Mine just might be stuck, or maybe it's not there at all. It is there, actually, because the figure will crunch at the waistline, but I just can't twist it for whatever reason. Legs kick up about this much. Not a man, they don't kick out a lot. Yeah, this is someone, if you're if you have a football team, you don't want this guy punting. This guy does not really want to kick forward. Yeah, kick out to the side. It's kind of limited as well. Double jointed knees. Kind of tight crunch. Articulated ankles and articulated toes. So for me, I love the look of this figure. I'm a fan of the Dr. Thomas Wayne Batman, aka Flashpoint Batman. I love the fact that this is like one of the few figures that came with weapons before they banned firearms on the McFarlane figs, or at least for the DC ones. You know, if you're a Spawn collector, they still include weapons and guns with the McFarlane Spawn stuff. But for DC, it's a completely different story. But yeah, this guy is awesome. I love the use of this body too. I kind of wish they'd reused this cape and cowl for like a standard Batman and not Dr. Thomas Wayne. But you know, otherwise, I think this is excellent. The face is awesome. I love the expression. It's very neutral. And if you wanted to, you know, you could repaint this black and just say it's Bruce and just swap it onto another head. Yeah, but overall, great figure. I like this guy a lot. So if I had to rate this guy on a scale of 1 to 10, for me, I want to give it a higher rating, but due to the limitations and the articulation, I'm going to have to say this guy's just like a solid 8. You know, I'd love to say he's a 9, but, you know, there's some minor issues in the range of motion for the articulation. Otherwise, it's a great figure. Now, if you had to choose between this and the first release, I'm going to say I think both of them are must purchases. For me, I needed both. You know, I couldn't just have one or the other. Being a fan of the character, I wanted the unmasked head and also wanted the one with, you know, the Batman, the full Batman mask on it. So wonderful figure. I like this guy a lot. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.